What's up YouTube, it's Zapdos TCG here, and thanks again for tuning in for another TCG deck profile video on my channel. Today is gonna be another post-rotation deck because of course the rotation is almost upon us. On the 1st of September we'll be losing a ton of cards. If you want to learn more about the rotation, there will be a link in the description below where you can know every single card that gets rotated out. But today it's a post-rotation deck and it's all about damage spread and of course the Shrine of Punishment. Dealing putting one damage counter between turns on every Pokemon GX and EX, but EXs are going out, but just saying, it's a very solid card in combination with damage spread, and I talked about it before yesterday in the episode, and today it's gonna be a deck profile video post-rotation, so you guys can already start playing it with this particular deck. So, first things first, we're gonna play 3 copies of the Tapu Koko promo. You already know Tapu Koko promo. This guy is amazing. For a double card with Energie, you can just use Flying Flip, dealing the 20 damage on everything that the opponent has in play. So 20 damage is fantastic with choice band at 50 on the active and 20 on everything else. Very, very fantastic. Another spread card I love so much is of course the Latios. Latios can just make quick work of Incase and everything that is weak to Psychic. Also with a choice band, deals the nice amount of damage, and you can sometimes have access of course to the second attack. Same goes for Tapu Koko if we rely on counter energy, because with Tapu Koko this one can destroy maybe things like Baby Celesteela, and this one can destroy things like Boswell. So we have spread as the main attack for double card with energy, but the other attacks can also be kind of useful if of course we have access to counter energy. Next up is Oricorio. Now you might say, what the hell is this Oricorio with the Zappy Pom-Poms here? That crazy attack. You can deal 30 damage to every one of the opponent's GX, and that GXs are just very dominant in the current metagame. Think about Rayquaza, think about Zoroark, think about Lele, etc. So Oricorio is gonna pack quite the punch. For a single lightning energy, we're gonna rely on rainbow energy, so a bunch of special energies. I know that might seem weird, but the strategy is here. We're gonna use an attack, get an attack off for a single attachment, and if sometimes they use Enhanced Hammer or something, that doesn't matter because we will be with one hit KO'd regardless. So that's why we're running a bunch of special energies. And you might also think, oh no, Circuitry, we're not gonna do anything against that. Well, that's a GX Pokemon, and with the Shrine of Punishment and a combination of Lusamine that I'm gonna talk about later in the video, we will definitely be able to get rid of some of the Circuitries. Yeah. Moving forward, we're gonna have Weavile. Of course, this is the one from the Burning Shadows set. This is amazing because this has the Rule of Evil. This is an amazing attack dealing 60 damage to everything that has an ability. Both yours and your opponent's, which means if we have abilities, we're also going to talk about Hoopa later down in the video, we can even deal damage on ourselves, which is not the point in case here, but you will need that attack in order to, everybody relies on Tapu Lele. A lot of people are playing Zoroark, a lot of people are also playing Malamar, everything that has an ability, Rayquaza, Gardevoir. I can keep going, but if you want to learn more about that, definitely check the video I did yesterday. But we're going to run a 3-3 line of Weavile. Also run the Sneasel. I think this is one from the Ultra Prism. I could be wrong, but it has the Sneaky Smash. If you go second, you can use that attack and then you can discard 1 energy from one of your opponent's Pokemon. Very disruptive. We're also gonna run disruption cards like Crushing Hammer and Enhanced Hammer, so very, very fine. So the main strategy about this deck is using a bunch of spread damage together with Shrine of Punishment. We're also gonna get out the Shrine of Punishments immediately so we can get those out of the way, because of course we are gonna have to rely on that. We're gonna just put them here on the corner of the video. I don't think they are fitting here, right here. 4 copies of the Shrine of Punishment. So the strategy is we're gonna use a bunch of spread damage together with Shrine of Punishment, adding that damage up, and then out of nowhere we finish the game with Tapu Lele, and then we can move all the damage counters just with a simple counter energy. We're gonna take all our prize cards at once most of the time, so that is gonna be the case here. We're gonna just attach a counter energy onto the Tapu Lele, and then we are good to go to take our prize cards, because we can move every single damage counter on the opponent's side of the field, and that way we can take a lot of KOs. Next up, to finish the list, is 2 Hoopas. Now I know what you might say. This is going to be going against the Weavile, because Weavile is going to hit Hoopa, but sometimes you cannot get out your Weavile and you're stuck with your basics, and that way you need to stall a bit of time. Well, Hoopa can be that card. You don't want to get out every one of these cards. Sometimes you just have a lone Hoopa while Shrine of Punishment does the work for you, because it's going to be very hard post-rotation to get rid of a Hoopa. The only thing that can get easily rid of a Hoopa is of course the Baby Boswell, and Baby Boswell has to 2-shot with Diancie Prism Star and an Energy. They will only be able to deal 100 damage, and Strong Energy is getting rotated, so that's going to be awesome. Hoopa is going to be very, very powerful. Think about the Zoroark, Lycanroc list. always relies on GX cards, while Hoopa is gonna have a field day while Shrine of Punishment does the trick. Again, we're running counter energy, so we can use the attack Super Sideball, we can use the attack Magical Swap, we have access to all of the attacks, so that's awesome. Another fun fact is that the Weavile, of course, with its second attack, with a choice band can one-shot Darlings, Necros, my GXs, which is always fun to think about. Next up, we're gonna go to the supporter line after the, there's not a lot of Pokemon in here, but at least we have a bunch of spread shenanigans going on. Okay, 4 copies of Cynthia. Why are we going to run 4 copies? Well, Sycamore is gone. We need, shuffle support. Well, that is going to be the ideal shuffle support. Moving forward, we also have 1 copy of Tate and Liza. Sometimes it might be necessary to just switch at certain points in the game where you just have, of course, your Hoopa stuck and you want to get a flying flip off. Well, with Tate and Liza, you have a switching option. Well, you can also choose to shuffle your hand into your deck and draw a fresh hand of 5. Copycat, very fantastic against, of course, Zoroark players that have a huge hand size. But if you want to lower the hand size, Judge is also a thing. With Disruption, this deck is amazing. Let's say you have a DC onto Tapu Koko, you judge them early game. Well, that is going to be fantastic if they don't set up, because the damage will stack up turn after turn after turn. Very fantastic deck. I've tested it out in real life. I already won against the Zoroark list, and I already won against the Stakataka, believe it or not, because Stakataka also has an ability. You can use Weavile, although for every Stakataka your Weavile damage output gets reduced, but with Shrine of Punishment that goes through that ability. So I even won against those, so that's saying how powerful this list is. Hoopa is also great against the Stakataka and Naganadel decks because they most of the time rely, of course, you know it, on GX cards. Next up is going to be 3 copies of Guzma. Finally got my second full art Guzma here, so that's very, very nice to see. I always like to pimp out my deck, so and what a better way to do that than having this new Lusamine. Lusamine, a very fantastic card, lets you put any combination of 2 cards between stadium cards and supporters. You can get a Guzma back, you can get a Judge back, or you can just get yourself 2 Shrine of Punishments back, so that way you have access to more Shrine of Punishments that you would ever thought. Let's say the opponent uses a couple of Brooklet Hills and Field Blowers, or maybe they're running something else, or maybe they're running a bunch of Field Blowers. Well, if all your Shrine of Punishments are gone, you can still rely on Lusamine, use Lusamine, get Shrine of Punishment back, put it back in place, and boom, you are done. Then just do the waiting game with Hoopa up front, and then do it like that. So we have 2 ways of playing the deck. Playing defensively with Hoopa, or playing very aggressive with Weavile and the spread shenanigans. So that's the way to go. I love this deck so much. Been playing it for a couple of days now, and I've been enjoying myself a lot. So moving forward, 4 copies of Ultra Ball. That's the best draw Pokemon that can search out Pokemon out of the deck. Ultra Ball can get out that Lele, can get out the Hoopa, can get out the Weavile. So 4 copies of that. Then of course 2 copies of Nazball. We don't running any Bridget or Fan Club or anything, so Nazball will be the way to get out your little Sneasel, or maybe Nazball searches out everything besides the Weavile, so that is awesome. 2 copies of Nazball. Then some more items here. We're not afraid of Garbodor with Trash Lands, because of course we're gonna be one-headed regardless. Then Counter Catcher, we're gonna fall behind in prize cards. That is a thing that we know for sure, and if we're falling behind in prize cards, we are gonna have the access to Counter Catcher. We can target anything we possibly want, and if the opponent has been using all of their Guzmas, just let me stress this out. Think about this. Floatstone gets rotated out. You can easily get something stuck in the active with Counter Catcher, and then use that Shrine of Punishment do the trick, or maybe some flying flips here and there. It's very fantastic. 2 copies of the Counter Catcher. Next, some Disruption, of course. What would a deck be without Disruption here? We have 2 Enhanced Hammers. Very, very, very powerful card after rotation. There's no more access to your special energies in your discard pile, unless you're playing Oranguru with the resource management, but no more special charge. That's fun. No more puzzle of time to get them back, so if you can get rid of a bunch of double Carlos energies, you'll be good to go. So here are 2 copies of Enhanced Hammers, and then of course 3 copies of Crushing Hammer. Not everybody is relying on their special energies, so against things like Rayquaza, against things like Naganadel, you can easily get rid of a couple of energies with Crushing Hammer. Also, kind of the fun thing I noticed here, if I faced Naganadel Stakataka, is they're gonna set up Baby Duskmane, or maybe the Baby Celesteela, even though it takes forever. Well, with the right amount of Crushing Hammers hitting, you can just slow them down even further while you just spread the damage. Next, 3 copies of Choice Band. Why is Choice Band in here? Well, let me just say this. Choice Band on a Weavile will work. Choice Band on an Oricorio will work. Choice Band on a flank flip, it will work. So the Choice Band helps out with the numbers to just get those 2-hit KOs. Hoopa with a Choice Band deals of course 110 damage, and if they get rid of your choice band, you can even just smack for another 80 damage. That is going to be 190, and with the Shrine of Punishment between turns, you can get those magical KOs of 210. Okay, moving forward, we're gonna also have some switching mechanics, because sometimes you don't want to start with Oricorio if you don't have the correct energy. Same goes with the Lele or with the Hoopa. Well, you can just have your switching cards. We have Switch and Escape Rope. There's two options here. Escape Rope, very solid, of course, because the Tapu Koko has free retreat. With that, you can just use Escape Rope, let the opponent switch, and then it will make it awkward for them to just promote something. They promote first, you can promote your Koko, you have free retreat, go access anything you want, so very fantastic. And Switch, of course, a manual switch. Floatstone is gone, this is the next best thing. Next, 2 copies of the Rescue Stretcher. I only in this list played one, and then I realized, wow, I only play one Lele. I definitely need it at some points, and sometimes I have to Rescue Stretcher, let's say a Hoopa. So 2 copies of Rescue Stretcher is going to be solid here in this list. I designed it from scratch, so I think it's gonna be kind of fine. It could be having a little tweaks here and there, but that's the main key here. 2 copies of Rainbow Energy. Rainbow Energy is mainly for, of course, Tapu Lele, Hoopa, or Oricorio. So Oricorio with the Rainbow Energy, 30 on every GX. I just love doing that. And also the Rainbow Energy you can use Psy Wave of the Tapu Lele, and don't underestimate that against the Rayquaza. If you have a choice band on there, you can just get those magical one-hit KOs. Fantastic, right? Next up is going to be 3 copies of the Counter Energy. Why is Counter Energy so great? We're gonna fall behind in prize cards. We're only gonna take our prize cards all in one blow with the Tapu Lele, the magical swap, and it's going to be the case like that. Counter Energy, as mentioned, let's say you have a double card Energy on your Tapu Koko. They don't knock it out while you have access to Electric Ball if you're falling behind in prize cards. Or maybe you want to have... the funny fact is that they both have Electric Ball, the Oricorio and the Tapu Koko. You also have access to Lagoon Flight, or mainly you will use it on your Hoopa in order to have that Super Psy Bolt attack. And then, of course, to finish the list, you could have guessed it already. What is it going to be? 4 copies of Double Chorus Energy. So that's going to be the deck profile for today. So if you enjoy what you see, be sure to demolish the like button. Let me know in the comment section what you would like to see a deck list of post-rotation. I'm only making post-rotation decks, deck profiles for now. If you want to see some pre-rotation Worlds content, well, it's already on the channel. Think about Rayquaza, Stack Attack, etc. Anyhow, have a fantastic rest of your day. If I've mentioned, if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe. There's going to be more deck profiles on the channel very shortly, and I will see you guys then. Thanks again for tuning in. See you guys in the next video. Peace out.